The Toyota Supra MK4 appeared in 1993 when the Japanese brand's performance division decided that it wasn't enough just to compete. It was time to dominate. Internally called the A80 project, the new Supra was completely redesigned from scratch. The wedge-shaped fastback body concealed a precision machine, shorter, lower, and with a weight distribution of 51% at the front and 49% at the rear. Weighing around 3,420 pounds with manual transmission, the American Supra had the legendary 2JZGTE engine under the hood. This 3.0-liter inline six-cylinder engine used a cast iron block and aluminum cylinder head with dual variable valve timing VVTI on post-1996 models. With two sequential turbochargers, it officially produced 276 horsepower and 333 pound-feet of torque. But in practice, it delivered much more. The turbo system operated intelligently. The first kicked in at around 1,800 RPM, while the second was gradually activated from 4,000 RPM. This configuration reduced turbo lag and kept power delivery stable. The Getrag 5 1606-speed manual transmission was reinforced to handle over 500 pound-feet of torque, becoming a legend among quarter-mile enthusiasts. The suspension was independent on all four wheels, with double wishbones and aluminum components, optimizing stiffness and reducing unsprung weight. The brakes used four-piston calipers at the front and ventilated discs on all wheels. With an optional Torsen LSD differential and switchable traction control, the Supra MK4 offered a rare balance between control and brutality. While the exterior of the Supra MK4 evoked smooth curves and meticulous aerodynamics, its true power lay in the guts of the 2JZGTE engine. Designed with an engineer's mindset, not an accountant's, the inline six-cylinder was an overbuilt platform of tolerance, a mechanical code that Toyota left open for those who knew how to decipher it. With the displacement of 2.99 liters, the 2JZGTE had a bore and stroke of 86 millimeters, favoring a balance between rotation and torque. Its thick-walled cast iron block was capable of withstanding extremely high cylinder pressures. Factory-forged connecting rods, low-compression aluminum pistons, and a sturdy steel crankshaft gave the engine almost absurd durability. Estimated at up to 1,000 horsepower with minimal preparation. Hitachi's sequential turbo system, operating at a maximum factory pressure of about 0.9 bar, was managed by pneumatic control valves and an electronic relief valve. On models with manual transmission, the air-to-air intercooler helped maintain mixture density under high loads. The direct ignition system, with independent coils for each cylinder, ensured consistent sparking even under maximum pressure. The original Denso ECU already had sensors for knock, air temperature, throttle position, and air mass, an advanced system by 1990s standards. But the 2JZ's greatest asset was its ability to absorb upgrades. With few changes, such as larger turbines, high-flow injectors, and remapping, the engine easily exceeded 600 horsepower on the street. The V160 transmission was an essential part of the package. With precise shifts, short ratios, and proven strength above 500 pound-feet of torque, it would become an object of desire and speculation years later, with units worth thousands of dollars on the used market. The entire mechanical assembly operated like an armored body. Each part could withstand twice the stress for which it was designed. It was as if Toyota had left a sleeping monster inside the Supra's trunk and handed the key to those who dared to wake it up. The MK4 Supra wasn't just an engine inside a beautiful body. It was a structure designed down to the millimeter for high performance. Toyota started the A80 project with a single goal: to make a car that would outperform the German competition in precision and reliability without losing its Japanese soul. Every inch of the chassis was sculpted with the obsession of those who knew that true performance lies in the details. The body used high-strength steel with reinforcements at strategic points. To reduce weight, aluminum was used in the hood, front suspension arms, wheels, and even the differential. The roof was lowered to improve the center of gravity, and the weight distribution, with a slight predominance at the front, ensured stability in corners without compromising rear traction. The independent four-wheel suspension followed a double wishbone layout, with pressurized shock absorbers and stabilizer bars at both ends. The camber and toe angles were adjusted for neutral handling at high speeds, maintaining grip even under heavy braking. The brakes on the American version were supplied by Japanese brand Sumitomo. Ventilated discs on all four wheels, with four-piston calipers at the front. It was a reliable and durable system, but limited on the track, which led many owners to switch to Brembo or Willwood setups. Traction control could be disabled, allowing the driver to explore the limits with freedom and controlled risk. The steering was rack and pinion with progressive hydraulic assistance, calibrated for direct response without being overly sensitive. The short turning radius made maneuvering easy, but it was on long corners that the Supra revealed its identity. Firm, planted, always at the limit of grip. The aerodynamic package included the famous rear spoiler, functional above 80 miles per hour, and real air intakes for cooling the brakes and engine compartment. The body offered a drag coefficient of 0.31, respectable for a muscular coupe. It was a machine made to hunt in silence, unostentatious, but with surgical precision. A samurai in car form. In the United States, the Toyota Supra MK4 quickly escaped the exotic import label to become an icon of speed culture. Its base price was around $40,000, competitive with rivals such as the Chevrolet Corvette C4 and Mazda RX-7 FD. But what really set it apart was its almost infinite capacity for modification. American tuners quickly realized that the 2JZ GTE, even in its original configuration, was a ready-made base for doubling or tripling its power. Installing Garrett or precision turbines, 1,000cc injectors, high-flow fuel pumps, and complete ECU reprogramming became common practice. Many Supra models exceeded 700 horsepower with relative reliability. Some, in extreme builds, broke the 1,200 horsepower barrier and reached speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour. On the illegal drag racing scene in Los Angeles and Miami, the Supra became an urban legend. Its metallic roar, amplified by straight exhaust pipes and open relief valves, announced its presence before it was even seen. In quarter-mile sprints, it could leave even Dodge Vipers and Ferrari 355s in the dust, and it did so with semi-slick Toyo tires, a locked differential, and steady hands on the V160 transmission. The specialized media initially treated the Supra with a certain disdain. Car and Driver magazine praised its performance but criticized its weight and exaggerated spoiler design. However, instrumented tests showed the truth. Acceleration from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.6 seconds, a quarter-mile time of under 13 seconds, and lightning-fast acceleration. It was faster than a 911 Carrera of the time. But the turning point came with the movies. In 2001, The Fast and the Furious catapulted the Supra to stardom. Brian O'Connor's car, with its orange paint job and raised wings, became a symbol of underground power. Millions of young people saw the Supra as something unattainable, but inspiring. The 1,000-horsepower Japanese machine became a symbol of freedom, rebellion, and pure speed. What started as a well-balanced sports car had become a cultural monster, and there was no stopping it. The end of the Toyota Supra MK4 in the United States came as a cold sentence. In 1998, after only 6 years of production in the American market, Toyota officially ended sales of the model. The reasons were pragmatic: declining sales, changes in emissions regulations, and a market that was beginning to prefer SUVs over high-performance coupes. But for enthusiasts, that departure was an irreparable loss. With no direct successor in sight, the Supra entered a state of dormancy. Dealerships cleared their inventories with discreet discounts. Silently, the legend began to build. The community of tuners, YouTubers, and street racers kept the name alive. The 2JZ GTE became synonymous with an unbreakable engine, and its myth grew as power numbers on dynamometers exploded across the internet. In the early 2000s, prices fell. Used Supras were selling for less than $20,000, affordable for young people who knew exactly what they were getting. Illegal races, specialized forms, and the first amateur videos revealed a growing subculture. Each modified Supra was a statement that power could come from anywhere, as long as it was honest and brutal. Then came the Renaissance. With the advancement of the internet and the global success of the Fast and the Furious, the Supra cemented itself as a pop icon. The twin-turbo editions, especially with manual transmissions, skyrocketed in value. Low-mileage units began to cost over $100,000. And as a rite of passage, each new generation of enthusiasts looked at the Supra not as an old car, but as the genetic code of modern performance. Toyota itself came to recognize the mistake of letting it go. When it finally announced the GR Supra decades later, the shadow of the MK4 still loomed over it. The legacy was too immense, the 2JZ GTE too untouchable. It was impossible to compete with a ghost that never rested. The Supra MK4 did not die. It became eternal. The Toyota Supra MK4 was never meant to be eternal. But the fate of icons never follows industry logic. It was born as an attempt at technical superiority, grew as a cult machine, and aged as a sacred artifact of global tuning. Today, each surviving unit in the United States carries with it a personal narrative of the garage, the street, the track, or the escape. Over time, the MK4 ceased to be a car and became a symbol. It no longer matters if you're a fan of Fast and Furious or Japanese engineering. The Supra represents something that was lost in the transition to hybrids and electrified platforms: soul. It's the metallic sound of an inline-six revving up to 7,000 RPM. It's the smell of gasoline in an H-shift. It's the curve taken with the steering wheel trembling in your hands and the turbo whistling in your ear. It's the absolute freedom to make mistakes, win, and break without filters. Today, seeing one on the street is like finding a samurai in a city dominated by drones. An original twin-turbo Supra with a manual transmission is now worth over $100,000. But it's not the value that defines it. It's the respect. Every time you see one, it doesn't need neon lights, an exaggerated exhaust, or flashy car wraps. Its silence speaks louder than words. It survived the era of modern muscle cars, electronic supercars, and 1,000-horsepower SUVs. It survived because it never tried to be anything other than itself. And now, it's up to us to keep it alive. Like, share, and spread its story. keep the mechanical memory alive in times of artificial steering wheels. Every bit of support is a reminder that there is still room for machines with soul. So if you felt something in that roar, in that 2JZ code, in that last cry of pure metal, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and support this work. Because the Supra isn't just a car, it's a legacy, and a call to those who still hear the sound of combustion.